Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1621 of What You Up To Now. Today we're talking about contribution priorities. How do we set priorities, and what are our priorities with respect to our contribution, what we give out in the world, what impact we have on other people, things outside of ourselves. That's the focus for this month in our BU 365-day challenge. To do one thing every day that improves us, we are focusing on the life framework area of contribution. And of all the areas of life, the one I have probably given the least conscious attention to is the area of contribution. I've always grew up thinking that we do what our parents, we do what our parents teach us. We model them. We go to school. We get a good education. We get a good job. We work. Then we retire. We raise a family somewhere along the way there, and just what happens to us happened to us. That's what I believed growing up. I didn't realize that we have the ability and the power to choose and really impact and control our life. And of course, I've learned that over the years, and that's why I use the 9 area framework now for organizing my life, right? Just like we need to organize our closets and organize our work, we need to, and our priorities, we need to organize our life. And so I use physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution that I learned from Tony Robbins back in the 1980s, the early 1980s. And then last year, kind of coming out of the COVID pandemic, I joined a coaching program where I participated, and we focused on core skills, core abilities, and they were communication and confidence. So I added communication and confidence to my life framework, and I use all of those now in terms of, I guess we could go 9, that's easier than the thumb. Why am I using the thumb? So I added those so that those, I think, are key foundational skills, right? Our communication and our confidence, just like the other areas of our life framework, really impact all the others. And so I added them. So this month, and I've thought about communication and thought about confidence a lot more than I've ever thought about consciously contribution. So this is a fun area for me to dive into too as part of the challenge, because I do the challenge right along with the people. As I'm leading the challenge, I actually do the action items as well. So today we're thinking about the area of contribution and what's most important to us with respect to that area. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about contribution thoughts and beliefs, and then we'll talk about core values and then other topics throughout the month. We'll go through the SOAP framework every month. We apply the SOAP framework to this area or aspect of our life that we're discussing, and we'll think of, what is one area of contribution that we really, really want to make an impact on, and we'll apply the SOAP framework, and we'll do that as part of this month's exercises and action items. So we want to break it down into a little piece every day, so by the end of the month, we can make this area and improving in this area and achieving our goals and objectives for it automatic, just like all the other areas and aspects of our life. So we talked about priorities, and I just shared a list of 10 ways to make the world a better place that I'd gotten online to prime the pump and get us thinking about, well, what are some things that are maybe important to us that we really haven't articulated or thought about before, but that we could absolutely positively do. The vast majority of us, and I think one of them was something like stand up to everyday injustices. How many of us have ever seen something that was just like, wow, that doesn't seem right, that's not right, and we didn't say anything, we just walked away, and then we thought about it later and we're like, wow, I really wish I would have said something. And I've had people in my life say something when I was upset about something, somebody would come by and say, oh, you're beautiful, or they'd say, something that was encouraging, and they gave value to me and they contributed to my life in a positive way. I have no idea who they are. Just I think of them as people and angels that come in and out of our lives for just an instant, but they contribute to our life and they contribute to making the world a better place. So I will continue to talk about making the world a better place as I go through this challenge, because it's such an important thing to me. And to me, that is all of our purpose and contribution, is to become the best version of ourselves, because that, becoming the best possible version of ourselves, is positively impacting the rest of the world with our energy, with what we contribute, whether we consciously contribute it or not. Us just being ourselves gives other people permission to be themselves. And I think deep down, that's really the core desire of almost everyone on the planet. We want to come here, live our life experience, and be loved and accepted for who we truly are, not who we pretend to be. And so contribution is a huge area, and we're not often aware of the impact that we're having on other people, and contribution is the impact, and we can choose whether that impact is positive or negative. And I'm going to say, I know I've had negative impacts on people in my life, and I regret those, not to the point where they're damaging my life now, but I've learned from those to say, oh my gosh, when I think back to high school and I would tease people and call them names, that was probably not the best contribution to the world, right? And since then I've learned, and I don't call people names anymore, because I wouldn't want to be called names, and if I don't want to be called names, I don't call other people names, right? Even in jest and jokingly, unless everybody's in on it, right? And we all agree that it feels good to us. All right, so we talked about what are our priorities, and we're just sharing our three priorities with respect to contribution that come to mind. Mine, of course, one is make the world a better place. Another one is to positively impact and contribute to those I love and care about. And I don't know what my third one is yet. I haven't thought of it. I have to think about the area of contribution a little more. What do I really want to focus on, or what's really most important to me right now? Excuse me. And then for our Supersize Your Business contribution related idiom was prime the pump. And I actually love this idiom. I love this expression. Maybe not what it stands for now in terms of putting money into something to stimulate it, like stimulating the economy when we're having tough economic times. Government will increase spending in order to get the economy flowing again, right? Into things like that. So that's a meaning of prime the pump. But prime the pump originally was, and still is used today, to actually get the air and the gas out of a line so that water can flow, so that liquids can flow. I think you probably prime pumps whenever you're pumping liquids still, and it's probably all electronic and automatic now on our wells and on systems these days. But I remember growing up, when I was a little girl, we had my grandpa and his brothers, my dad's dad and his brothers, had a cabin called Trollhättan in Wisconsin. I don't even remember where it was in Wisconsin. Just we went down this line of walnut trees. I remember that. And obviously I was pretty little. We used to go there and play, and they had the water, you had to pump it out in one of those big metal pumps out in front of the cabin. And so you'd have to prime the pump, you'd have to pour a little water down before you started pumping, or you wouldn't get any water out. And sometimes how we learned this lesson was our parents didn't teach us to prime the pump originally. They let us all just go around taking turns pumping, trying to get water out of the well, and we couldn't get any until they taught us how to pour a little down to prime the pump and get the gases out so that the water could flow. So I actually have fond memories of this particular idiom and expression. And so that's what we shared for Supersize Your Business. Facebook is doing strange things. I actually record my videos in the morning, every morning, on Facebook Live. And it's one of those things. Platforms we don't own are ever changing, and we just need to roll with the changes. And today I could do it, I could record, what's it called? Portrait, but not landscape. And I had options for portrait, but not, and they've all changed, but not for landscape. And I suppose it's just like everything else. A few days ago, I couldn't post, for about a week and a half, I didn't have the ability on my phone to post to pages. Now all of a sudden, one of my other pages has turned to their new format, and I will be able to I can post to pages again because they brought that feature back. Right now there's a bunch of features like filters that are not available, and portrait, and there's another couple things that weren't available as options that I usually use every day, because I like to filter out what I really look like a little bit. Sometimes my makeup's blotchy. Being visually impaired, my makeup tends to get kind of funky. I'm gonna have to get somebody to do it for me one of these years, but I'm gonna put it off as long as possible. I like to do what I can do with what I've got right now. That's one of my core beliefs, I guess, is do everything you can with what you've got, figure it out. There's always a solution. Anything's possible, stuff like that. So if I can help you in any way, it's a holiday weekend here in the United States. We actually are at the halfway point. Yesterday and today, since there's 365 days in a year, day 182 to 183, 182 and a half is half of the year. So our annual challenge, we are officially over the hump and on our winding down period of the annual challenge. I don't know about you, but when I set goals, I push really, really hard for the first half so that I know I can I can accomplish that goal. Once I get to the halfway point, I know I can accomplish my goal. And I've always done that, but I really started doing it when I started to get physical activity and try to get healthier. I would plan my walks, and I would make the first half uphill, and then I knew once I got to the halfway point, in order to get back to my car or back to where I was home, I would have to finish it, but it was going to be easier because it was downhill on the way home. And so that would give me fast wins and successes that encourage me to keep going toward my goals and objectives. And I try to do the same thing with everything. So once we get to the halfway point of our annual goal, I'm always really, really excited because I know we can do it. No, nothing's going to stop us now because we're already over halfway there. All right, have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, I'm going to be celebrating with family and having an awesome time and doing some other projects as well, but mostly play and fun and relaxation this weekend. All right, have a great day, and I'll of course be with you tomorrow. Bye.